welcome to product management. This field is growing, so this is definitely one of the fields that you would see forward where a lot of people would want to get into and experience a path which is probably new to, I'll say, the Indian context. If you see, product management has started just 10 years back. So, Harshit, over to you.
Sure. I'm currently a student, a final year student here at IIT BHU. Explored different domains via different internships across NGOs and startups, and discovered that my career would be better fit if I joined product. So I joined NextLeap, second cohort of APM fellowship, and from there I got offer from PhonePe, and I'll be joining PhonePe as APM in July.
Nice, congrats, Harshit, for that offer. But then let's pick up that thread, right? You said you've gained interest in product management. Could you walk us through what was that trigger point, or were you doing a lot of research to get into product management, or were you exploring multiple fields and that's when you got to know about product management and then decided to get into it?
Yeah, it was not a strategy to crack into PM. It was more of a discovery for me. So from my first year itself, I tried exploring various domains, and then I realized that even though I stepped into the shoes of various other roles, what I did was very much related to product management. For example, in my last internship at OYO, as a business analyst, I was asked to devise a dashboard for their internal operations team. And my strategy and my way to solve that problem was that of a product manager. And then I talked to a few mentors, and they, told me to discover more about this profile. And then I joined NextLeap, and with that, I cracked APM position. Yeah.
That's cool. I guess it's, I've seen most of the product managers, they share that pretty common journey where a lot of them discover as they get into the industry or as they get into some of the roles. My journey has been pretty similar. I joined into a tech role, a software developer role, and then I gradually gained interest on the business side and I entered the product role. Now, when you decided to get into product role, how did you go about preparing for it, or did you read about a lot of blogs, followed a lot of product leaders, or what was your thought process around that?
So for me, when I decided that I'll be going into product role, it was pretty late in a sense that my placement season was approaching, and it was 3 to 4 months for the placement to occur, and I decided to prepare for product roles. Before that, I had already made up my mind that I'll be preparing for analyst roles. So I had a pretty good preparation of business analyst and business case studies, but I did not have any preparation for product interviews, etc. Right. Then I decided that I'll be doing a very streamlined approach towards preparing for product, and then I decided that I'll join the NextLeap program, and there I followed that religiously. NextLeap had very curated sense of the curriculum was very curated and straightforward, right? And the interview preparation was also included within the program, right? So that gave whole bundle in one pack to me. So it was pretty straightforward journey for me from preparation point of view. I did not explode very much online, but there were a few domains where I explored. Like I used to go to the syllabus of various product cohorts website, and then I just glanced through the syllabus what they are trying to inculcate within me, the product management side of the things. And after that, I followed what NextLeap offers.
Got it. Super. So now let's take that thread of interviews, right? Now you mentioned that you've got an offer from PhonePe. Could you walk us through that interview process as well as your preparation?
So yes. So before that, I would also like to mention that I was also pretty clear about the fact that the knowledge part of the preparation is very, we can go very deep into the knowledge part of it. We can dive into the rabbit hole, but the thing which mattered the most is cracking the interview, because that's what helps us in landing the job, right? So I was pretty clear that I'll explore the knowledge only till that extent which will help me crack the interviews. Now for the interviews, before preparing for the interviews itself, I watched a few mock interview videos in the YouTube channel. Two of them which I recommend the most is Exponent and Rocket Blogs. And while watching that interview videos in the YouTube, I constantly asked, how can I perform the way that person is performing, the mock interviewee is performing, right? So I made a separate notebooks just for interviews, and I made templates of answers, right? And before that, I knew that I had a conversation with the peers and with Arindam and the team that for the entry level role, there will be two kind of interview: root cause analysis and product thinking or product design round, right? So I focused my interview preparation for these two interviews only. So I had two templates ready for both of these interviews, from the clarifying question till the conclusion part. Template in a sense that it can get replicated in multiple interview with minor alterations, right? So with every mock interviews, I used to enhance that template. With every mock interviews which I see in YouTube, I used to enhance that template. And with every mock interviews which I practiced with my peers and with my seniors, I used to enhance that template. So yeah, that was my preparation strategies for the interview.
Yeah, superb. And I guess you brought these two very valid points, right? Which in fact I followed during my Google process as well, right? One is mock interviews. The sole reason being you prepare yourself within your mind, right? You get used to the questions that would get asked. You get used to that atmosphere. And the second is template, right? For some common questions, you just list down your pointers on how you would go about. Probably just think through, right? That how would you answer a particular question, and that would surely help calm your nerves when that question is asked. But yes, again, following a template, and like you mentioned, there are a couple of websites like Exponent and Rocket Blogs. There are a few others. There is PM interview questions. There is Product Alliance. There are a lot of videos on YouTube. A lot of experienced product managers have put videos on YouTube. So yeah, I'll encourage audience to just go and look about around that. Now you've talked about you went through the mock interviews, right? You actually created the template. Anything in specific that you did outside that?
My preparation strategies towards making that template and building the knowledge base was number one, NextLeap's materials, and even in that material, let's say user research, right? So apart from that material, I used to read some Medium articles, most upvoted articles, just to filter that I'll not be reading any XYZ articles. I'll be reading some standard articles. So I had Medium subscription, so I utilized it to extreme extent. So I was an avid reader in Medium. There is a Medium account of PhonePe where they post their recent trends and technologies, and so I used to follow that. Even Flipkart, I used to follow their Medium posts, right? The technical team of Flipkart, the product team of Flipkart, they all have their Medium accounts, right? So I followed those kind of articles. So I get the topic or I get the keyword, and I used to search that keyword in Medium, right? I used to read that article and I used to maintain a notebook of that particular topic, right? And while putting my thoughts in the notebook, I used to internalize that information. I did not copy pasted that information from that website or any article. I used to think deeply about that topic. What does this actually mean? When you deeply understand about the approach, the thought process behind how that structuring works, that helps you retain that information, that mindset grows with you in that interview as well, and that is reflected, right? So I used to have very passive amount of time, like sitting or having a cup of tea and thinking about a particular topic. Those kind of passive time I used to devote much towards my preparation. And when I was fully confident that I have understood this particular concept, I used to make a very, very precise short notes. And in my cohort and this cohort as well, NextLeap had one social media sharing kind of challenge, right? So I used to distill that information and tweet it every day, right? So every 30 days of that preparation journey, I tweeted that information which I internalized. So in that way, it became a catalog of my learning, my Twitter handle. So that was my some tricky strategy which I deployed while in my preparation, because there were only 3 to 4 months of my preparation left, right? So I have to utilize maximum amount of time, even passive time, towards being productive about preparing for product rules.
Got it. Yeah, cool. Again, over here, probably I'll just pitch in with a couple of points. Everyone can have a different preparation strategy. I personally, apart from watching a lot of mock interviews, right, I read a lot of articles about different products, about how did someone think about that product, right? How did they go about identifying user needs? So the whole intention behind this is to get your product mindset right. So normally what happens is we assume a lot of things that are there in our regular life, right? Something like why a microwave operates in a particular way, a fridge operates in a particular way, right? We have a lot of utensils in kitchen and they are designed in a particular way. And unfortunately, we don't question those, right? We don't ask ourselves why is that in a particular way. So if we get into that mindset about look at the products that are there around you, and there's a good book on this which is called Design of Everyday Things, right? That actually makes you think about your regular products that you use and ask those questions on why a particular product is designed that way. And once you get into that mindset, and that's what I call it a product mindset, where you start looking at each product that you use in everyday life, you start thinking about who's the user about it, right? Why is that product developed or designed in a particular way? And once you get into that mindset, even if a hypothetical question is pitched to you, it's very easy to apply that mindset on that hypothetical question, right? So even if you're asked that, can you come up with a home automation product, right? And then you'll go about, right, who is the user of my product, right? Why would that user want to use my product? Or what is the flow that a user would use my product? And once you start applying these kind of philosophies, it's very easy to answer those questions and in general crack the interviews. So now can you just talk in detail a bit more about different rounds that you had at PhonePe?
So every interview starts with tell me about yourself, your basic introduction. That should be very much streamlined towards how you would like to take interview forward. And root cause analysis and product design, these two rounds were only asked for me. So in the root cause analysis, there is a situation given. Basically, most of the time it's a metric which is deteriorating, and we are asked the reason of why that metric is going down, right? So this is the toughest round, which in the preparation phase I struggled most with, right? Because there is no structure on how to pinpoint an answer, but there is an instruction on how to go about finding the root, right? So I stick to that approach, right? So I used to again, I had a template on first I'll clarify on what the situation is, then I'll clarify on the user demographics, the devices demographics, etc. Then I'll clarify on the external causes, then internal causes, and till then I'll get some of the cues which will help me pinpoint on where the problem might be, right? And if there is no such problem till then, I'll just run through the action flow of the user actions which he or she performs, right? In a normal interview, we will get some of the hints on where the root cause might lie, and from there we can take the interview forward. That is root cause analysis. The other one is the product design round. I was very comfortable with product design round because here we can prepare beforehand. Like the question will be given. Let's say you are a product manager at Google and Google is trying to build a washing machine, right? If you are a PM at Instagram, Instagram is trying to launch a gaming experience for the users. So we have to design a feature or a product in this particular round. And here I followed the approach that I'll understand why that thing is being launched, right? The vision of the company, how it connects to the vision of that company. And then again, understand the user demographics, then understand the metrics which will be governing what we build, how we will measure the success of it, right? And then I'll take some time and then brainstorm upon how the action flow will look like, and then discuss with the interviewer, is he or she comfortable with my approach, and then measure the success and some filler pointers like go-to-market strategy, pricing, etc. So these were my two major focus areas in the interview: root cause analysis and product design. And I went to the templated approach in these two rounds.
Yeah, cool. That pretty much helps, right? So yeah, I've seen this across companies, right? These two are common rounds. One is the root cause analysis, or few companies also call it as analytics round, where you are either asked to come up with the metrics for a given problem, or the metrics is given, and then you're told that either that metrics has moved up or moved down, right? How would you analyze that, right? So that's one common question that you would find in product interviews. The second is product design, which again, most product companies, they give a hypothetical situation and they ask you to devise a product around it. Cool. Yeah, great answer, Harshit. Following a template, and like you mentioned, there are a couple of websites like Exponent and Rocket Blocks There are a few others. There is PM interview questions. There is product alliance. There are a lot of videos on YouTube. A lot of experienced product managers have put videos on YouTube. So yeah, I'll encourage audience to just go and look about around that. So yeah, we talked about these two rounds, RCA and product design. Was there any particular challenging question, challenging round, or any particular sub question that the interviewer asked that you felt was challenging and probably you could have prepared better?
So there was this situation in the PhonePe interview, the root cause analysis. So I was given a hypothetical wallet application, right? And there was this situation in which the user, if the user's wallet crosses a minimum threshold, the wallet gets recharged with a certain top up, right? And for that particular features, the cancellation rate was increasing, and that was the root cause analysis. I have to do why the cancellation rate will increase. So I used my approach towards solving the root cause analysis wrong. And the peculiar thing about this interview was that every hypothesis or every axiom that I gave to the interviewer, he negated it and he said that this is not the cause and you have to think for something else. And I was exhausted while solving that case. And ultimately, the root, like I never reached the root cause. From that, I lived that concept that the interview is not testing out to check what the root cause is. He is testing your mindset, right? So this was the most challenging interview which I faced in recent years.
Sure, that's an excellent point, right? But eventually, to keep in mind is, like you said, the interviewer is not looking for the right answer, right? Or at times, there's no right answer at all, right? What you're trying to highlight in the interview is the process that you would follow to get to an answer. And most of the times, these are hypothetical questions. So again, there is no single right answer. It's about how do you go about the approach that you take to answer that question. That's important. So now that you have crossed the interview process, right? But then if you're to reflect back, right, and give few tips around, right, how should someone go about getting into product management field, or if someone has an interview call, right, give tips to them on how they should think about product management.
So whenever you find that some things are repeating, try to make a template out of it and do not repeat the process in every step. This will help you in the deck round as well. But the first round or the 0th round is the deck submission round. We have to submit a product deck, and in that also that is also repeating in every other interview. Every other companies ask us to submit deck. So make a central deck, and then according to the situation, change the deck and submit according to the problem given. I repeated that same mindset in the interview preparation as well. Second thing I would like to highlight is go for quality first, not on quantity. There are a philanthropy of information and philanthropy of website talking about product management. There are multiple resources, and you have to be smart enough to select which one resonates with your understanding, with what you are comfortable with. So you just have to be vigilant that you are comfortable with this particular author. Follow that author. The knowledge part will be covered, right? And the third thing which I followed was brownie points thing. So I used two steps in the interview process. The first one was I memorize the vision statement of major companies, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, etc., for top 5 global companies and top 5 Indian companies. And most of the time, the root cause analysis of product design was the hypothetical question was devised around these companies' product, right? So I started off my interview with saying that the vision statement of this particular company is XYZ, and so the product which I would like to design should have this feature. So I connected and with the vision of that parent company, and that gave me brownie points. And the second thing which I did for brownie points was I followed the emerging technologies like 3D printing, the IR4 technologies very much, right? So I tried to include these concepts in my answers as well, not very much ruthlessly fitting that concept, that emerging technology in the problem statement, but given a hint that this particular situation can also be solved by 3D printing technologies. So these are my few tips for interview preparation.
Yeah, no, that's helpful, and probably I can summarize it and add a couple of points from my side, right? I guess you highlighted it very well. And probably I'll just take it one level up. So whenever a question is asked in the interview, just take 30 seconds, right, to think about what exactly is the interviewer trying to get out of it, right? Most of the times, you're not expected to jump into solution, right? So the most important work of a product manager is to ask why and not say yes to something or say no to something immediately, right? So if you build a context, and that context could be looking at company's vision, right, looking at what the user needs are, looking at where competitors stand, where the market needs are. So yeah, if you could get into the context of things, that will actually help interviewer understand what is your thought process about, rather than jumping into solutions directly, right? So that's one pretty critical point. The second point is, yes, whenever interviewer tries to contradict you, right? Again, take a pause, think about it, right? Is interviewer giving a hint somewhere, right? Have you gone wrong in your answer somewhere, right? Or is interviewer taking you to a different direction at times? So anytime you're feeling nervous, you're feeling you're not going right, feel free to take a pause, go slow on answering the question, and always reflect back on why something is being asked by the interviewer. I guess if you just concentrate on these points, that will help you at least be on track with the interviewer, right? And of course, keep on regularly checking with the interviewer on, right, am I going the right way, right? Is this what you expected out of me, right? Should we go deep into this, right? Or should I get into the next point? Right? So most of the times, these things help, because there might be a case where interviewer wants to take you to a different level. He might want to, or he or she might want to go deep into a particular topic, and you're probably just brushing it over. So yeah, keep on regularly checking with the interviewer. That always helps. So once you make a decision to get into product management, don't look back. There are a lot of resources out there, a lot of people to mentor, right? Just call out if you need help, and we would be there to help you.
Thank you.